Hey, for all the authors that are listening out there, I wanted to share with you this great email that we received here at the Reading with Your Kids podcast from Dr. Linda Mubarak. She is a past guest and the author of Maxine's new job. Here's the email. Dear Fatima and Jed, good news! Maxine's new job has been nominated to receive the prestigious Henri Award at the 2018 Christian Literacy Awards for Outstanding Literacy Work in the Children's Book Division. I sincerely believe your certifying Maxine as a great read helped bring increased social media attention to the book. Thank you for the exposure and the great marketing. We are so happy for Dr. Linda Mubarak that her book, Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read, Maxine's New Job, received this prestigious recognition. We would love to help your book receive that same kind of recognition. If you are interested in having your book considered for our Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program, please visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com. You can click on the contact button, send us a note, and we'll send all the information back to you, or you can go right to our Certified Great Read page on our website. It's fun, it's easy, and it is really an effective way to let the world know that your book stands out above all the rest. The Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program.
Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mahaba, moni muli wanji, namaste, jambo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedlie, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We're coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. Thank you so very much for taking the time to join us in our mission to help families grow closer through reading. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. Our guest today is Cindi Goodeaux. She's returning to the show to celebrate Jellibean Adventures, the Art of Friendship. Hey, Cindi, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
I'm really excited to have you here. Cindi, I think you were here to celebrate the first Jellibean adventure, and that was real exciting. It was the start of your authorship career, and it was the start around the starting time of our podcast. And how it's wonderful how both our projects have grown.
Most definitely. Oh, that's exciting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So tell us about the Art of Friendship, please.
All right. Well, Art of Friendship is book 4 in the Jellibean series. So in this book, Jellibean reunites with her family at a festival. She's out on adventures outside the kingdom, and she kind of stumbles across the festival. But it's something that happens, and she's excited to reunite. She sees her family. She sees her best friend from her childhood, which is in book 1. Something gets stolen from her in the middle of the night. She wakes up to find it gone and works with her father to try to figure out the clues, and pretty quickly realizes it's somebody very close to her that betrayed her. And so she goes through all her feelings. Her stomach hurts. She's upset, talks to her mother, and her mother validates those feelings but gives her the choice. You either can continue to be mad, you have a right to be mad, or you can decide that the relationship is something you want to forgive and move on. So it's just showing that all feelings are valid. It's what you do with them. Mm-hmm. That's important.
Yeah. That's a really great kind of conversation for families to have. I think I'm really happy now that parents and all of us are understanding how important it is for us to help our kids understand the feelings and the emotions that they experience. I think a lot of us think that, yeah, you know it. It's instinctual. You understand. You're sad. You understand sad is different than mad, and mad is different than happy, and that's just something that we're born with. It's right in there, but it's not right in there.
I agree completely. Kids have to learn to process those things, and it's definitely not something that's just instinct, and it can be overwhelming and confusing, and certainly good to have conversations about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've shared on the podcast before, my son would oftentimes feel lots of emotion, and any kind of negative emotion always felt like anger to him. And that's the way he reacted, whether it was sad or disappointed or nervous. It all came out as anger, and it took us a little while to kind of figure out what was going on. And then when we were able to sit down and talk to him about it, it really made a huge difference in his life to just like, hey, you're feeling this way, so why don't you stop and try to figure out what it is. Are you feeling? Are you angry because you're sad? Are you angry because somebody hurt you? Are you angry because you're disappointed? And life changed in a great way for him. And for us, our lives got even better too.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, I think a lot of times kids do things when they have emotions that they don't necessarily think before they do. Mm-hmm. They're kids. Mm-hmm. And so they get in trouble. And so they equate that they got in trouble because they were mad. They got in trouble because they were upset. Where it wasn't necessarily the emotion, it's what they did. It's a destructive thing maybe they did that they got in trouble for. So I think it's important for them to understand, hey, you feel angry. It's okay to feel angry, but grab a pillow and scream into it, or do a dance and shake it all out. But it's okay to feel that way. It's just what do you do with it? Mm-hmm. That is what's good or bad.
Yeah. And I think that's also a really, really important conversation, an ongoing conversation that we need to have with our kids, just helping them understand that, yeah, your feelings are valid. There's a reason that you feel angry. Somebody did something to you, and you have a right to feel angry. But what are we going to do about it right now?
Exactly.
Yeah. And that piece about forgiveness, was that something that was real important for you to talk to kids about, this whole idea of being able to forgive and let go?
It was most definitely important to me, because I think it's a concept that's difficult for adults sometimes. So I know that it's got to be difficult for kids. When somebody hurts me, I don't like them anymore. They've done something. In this case, they've taken something from me, and I don't want to be their friend anymore. But that's when you have to kind of take a step back and say, look, you have all these years as friends. Is it really worth throwing away over this one thing? Mm-hmm. Is it really so important to you that you can't maybe find out why it happened, maybe have a conversation calmly with someone to find out what happened, and then maybe try to work beyond that? Or are you so angry and so hurt that you don't want to be friends with them anymore, which would be fine in some circumstances, of course. But you get to make that decision. That's what I wanted kids to understand, was you get to decide what you do and how you move forward. But it is something that you have to decide. And in this case, in this book, she feels sick for being so upset, it was me as a child. I would feel my emotions in my stomach. Mm-hmm. So she feels sick because she's so upset. And her mom says the only way to stop that is to think about forgiving her. And through the process of finding out what happened and why, and then deciding to forgive, she begins to feel better. But just the internalizing those emotions is what I wanted to show that can hurt you inside. Mm-hmm. And that forgiveness is a way to help yourself. Even if you forgive and then don't go on with that relationship, by forgiving, you're releasing your own internal emotions from hurting you.
Yeah. That's such a hard concept for adults to grasp. The whole idea that when you're offering forgiveness, sure, you're offering it to the person that hurt you, but you're also giving it to yourself. You're releasing yourself. You're not letting that hurt control you anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah. How did you learn that?
Had a person in my life who was the master of holding grudges and just seeing the pain that caused, and really wanting that person to come to an understanding of what she was doing to herself, not necessarily the people that she was upset with. Just taught me that lesson very early. Mm-hmm. Just observing that. Just, okay, that's how I don't want to be. I don't want to be the person that holds on to this stuff. Because I see what it does. Mm-hmm. So I just like one of those just lessons of what not to do that I really held on to. And so forgiveness for me is a very important thing. Now, if there has been a situation in my personal life where I had to cut contact with people over what was done, but that was after forgiving and then things happening, forgiving and things happening. And there comes a point where you do have to draw a line and say, I won't let you hurt me anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm just not going to put myself out there for this.
Right.
And maybe we'll be reunited in the future, but that's going to take a lot of growth on both of our parts for me to go back into that relationship, because I know that you hurt me on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. We're talking about profound kind of things, but, profound knowledge that a lot of us don't attain. Some of us never attain it. A lot of us don't attain it until we're in our adulthood and have experienced a lot. I think it's really wonderful if we can start to share some of these skills with our kids so that they don't have to experience the same pain and make the same mistakes that we made.
Yeah, I think emotional intelligence is very important for adults, and I think it's very important to start those kind of conversations with kids early, to build that, because it's not something that's going to spontaneously happen in children. These are skills that they have to learn, and maybe we can help if we share some of the things we've learned and experienced. Maybe we can help build their emotional intelligence a little earlier than they would naturally be catching that.
Yeah, yeah. Things have changed since I was a kid about 100 years ago.
And then it was about 50 for me.
One thing that I didn't know when you were here on the show last is that you and I, we share a couple of things. We both are children's authors. We love kids. We love children's books. We share an illustrator, Sangamita Dasgupta, has illustrated 2 of my books, and she also has illustrated all of your Jellibean books. And Cindi and I are also professional clowns. That is how did you get into that wonderful profession?
I have always loved clowns, and it's because my father always dressed as a clown for my birthday parties. We lived in the country away from everybody. He put a mop on his head, the soft part of the mop on his head. He used some Halloween makeup, overalls, and a T-shirt. But to me, he was the same clown as in the circus. And then one year for my birthday, he actually had an outfit ready for me to become a clown for my own birthday party. And it was one of the best experiences that I remember as a kid. And it just kind of made me I don't know, it was always like this magical world to me, the world of clowns. Meeting Buttons the Clown at the Ringling Brothers Circus. He was 8 feet tall and just the most amazing orange-haired clown I'd ever seen. So fast forward to about 11 years ago, a friend of mine told me that she had the opportunity to go to a local clown school here called Gator Clowns of Jacksonville. That's a nonprofit here locally. And I almost leapt across the table when she said it to me. I said, I want to do it too. And then I thought, oh, that's probably just her thing. But we ended up doing it together. We went to clown school. We graduated together. We actually started a little business together we called Gas Clowns, Giggles and Snickers. I was Giggle Blossom the Clown. She was Snickerdoodle. And so we were Giggles and Snickers, Gas Clowns. And we did birthday parties and events. We worked with the nonprofit and did some charity work. It was a blast. A lot of work, It was a lot of work, but boy, was it fun.
Yeah, it is. And, the whole clowns here, I was talking to Cindi about this before we started the recording. The perception, the way people perceive clowns here in the United States, unfortunately, it's not great. It's, a lot of people kind of look down on it, and, they just think that anybody can throw some makeup on their face and go out and entertain people. Certainly movies like It haven't helped, but clowning is a profession it's an art, and people around the rest of the world look at clowns as artists. And I experienced that when I traveled to the Caribbean. And it was wonderful to be able to walk into a room and to, have people appreciate what I was doing and understanding that it took a lot of skill to be doing what I was doing and really value it. So, I just want to encourage everybody out there to kind of put on a new pair of glasses the next time you see, someone with a big giant pair of glasses approach you, and understand that person has some skills and has brought a smile to probably a million faces.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some amazing clowns here locally that go to nursing homes and children's hospitals, and they do a lot of charity work. So I know they have huge hearts for what they do. And it's one of the most beautiful things to watch because it takes a lot to be a clown financially because of costumes and makeup and the supplies that you need for props and things. And then energy, it takes a lot because you're wearing layers and layers of clothing and a wig and a nose and the makeup. And here in Florida, it can get especially hot. But you know that person who's doing that is doing it straight from their heart. Because I think clowns, their job is to shine a light in the world and to bring humor and levity to an otherwise place that can be a little dark sometimes. And I just think if you look at a clown from an absolutely pure frame of mind, they really do it from the heart.
Yeah.
I had a little girl walk up to me one time talking about clown fear. 12-year-old little girl walked up to me in an event when I was in clown and said, you know, normally I'm afraid of clowns, but not ones that look like candy. I worked very hard to have a soft, approachable look. I didn't go with the classic clown colors, which are the basic colors. I went with soft pinks and turquoise, and it was very much on purpose because I wanted to create a non-threatening character because I wanted it to be approachable. And one thing you learn in clown school is you don't approach people. So the clowns that chase you have not been trained. I went to a birthday party. There was a little girl afraid. I just stayed across the room and did what I did. And at first she sent someone over for a balloon. And then eventually she came over and then she spent the rest of the party with us. And it was because we let her approach us because the last thing I'm going to do is chase somebody down because I want it to be a special experience. I want it to be something that they want.
Yeah.
That I would never force that on somebody else.
Yeah. One of the things that I did early on in my career, I started coming out without makeup when I was doing a big school show and knowing that they always put the preschool kids in the front row, the kids who are going to be most afraid of this bizarre looking person. Hey, you stick those kids up front. So I would come out without makeup on and I would put it on in front of the kids and let the kids see the transformation take place. And that was a pretty magical.
Most definitely. My favorite memory is going to a woman's shelter here. And once a month they had a party for the kids and being invited because they had a carnival theme that month. And I went in my clown. They had us all in the kitchen and they had the kids coming in. And then they were announcing people and people would go out. Well, they announced me and I had the thought, you know, these children have probably seen some pretty awful things. I don't want to be the one to scare them today. So what I ended up doing was pretending that I was afraid. And so I would peek out and they would say, no, it's okay. It's okay. So she had the kids encourage me and I eventually came out. So for the rest of my time there, the kids were like, it's okay. It's okay. But what that did was it put them in a place of power to not be afraid, to help me not be afraid, made them feel like they had the power. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to flip that and give that to the kids.
Yeah. And that's some great psychology that a parent can use with a kid. There might be a situation where you kind of know your kid is going to be really nervous about something. And maybe instead of being the big brave dad that can do anything and come on, don't be afraid, follow me. Maybe you're the one who's like, I really want to do this, but I'm kind of afraid. What do you think? And give your kid a chance to be the one that you follow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, I understand that you wrote a book on about a clown.
I did. I wrote Bunky and Lulu Find Their Place. And Bunky is based on a real clown here in the U.S.
Uh-huh.
And he's, I believe, up in Pennsylvania. But he's been doing it for 40-plus years. Definitely something that he absolutely loves to do. We met at Clown Convention, and he would share his stories with me. He's a man of 1,000 stories. It's just fantastic to sit and listen to him. I love listening to clown stories. And he told me about a time with him in the Coles Brothers Circus. There was an elephant there that just fell in love with him. She was just enamored by him and wanted to hang around him. That relationship really stuck with me because I love clowns and I love elephants. And eventually I came up with this story. At first it was going to be serious, but then it turned into a very silly story about a clown and an elephant retiring from the circus together. They get bored from retirement and decide to look for jobs together. And the book is about everybody has a place. And so there's a lot of hijinks. Elephants should never scoop ice cream. That's one of the lessons in the story. But eventually they find somewhere that their skills that they have from the circus actually help people. And so then they feel like they found their place. So it's just that message that everybody has a purpose.
That's wonderful. Wow, that certainly is true. Everybody does have a purpose. And And that's a great message that we can share with our kids, too, that not only do they have a purpose and a place in life, but all those people around us who seem like they don't fit in, they have a place, and maybe we're the ones who can help them find that place.
Most definitely. Yeah. I like how you put it that way. Yeah. Exactly.
You teach some pretty profound lessons in your writing. Did you set out to be a teacher through your children's books?
I actually come from a family of teachers, so I think that's kind of a natural thing. Mm-hmm. I don't want a book that preaches to kids, that hits them over the head with a message. I like to have these cute little characters with these fun little situations, and then have a message with a big heart kind of tucked underneath that. So I do get a lot of feedback from parents that they really connected with the message on a different level than maybe their kids did immediately. My monster book that I wrote, Ishkabibble Unafraid, where the monster is afraid of kids and meets a little boy who's afraid of monsters, and the two decide they have more in common than they don't, speaks to diversity and getting to know people who are not like ourselves, and understanding that we will have a lot more in common than we don't, even though we don't look alike. Just little things like that maybe help kids. I do believe a lot in emotional intelligence, and I really want to help children process a lot of these things they go through. But I try to do it in fun and cute little stories so that they get it in that way, in a gentle way. Maybe it's a bedtime story, but little things that they can learn along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, so important. And parents, I know this the whole idea of emotional intelligence, it's something that's catching on, but there's still, I know a lot of people out there going, this is kind of like woo-woo, kind of out there, and, but it's important. And I've talked through the different podcasts that I've hosted. I've had an opportunity to speak to captains of industry from around the world. And one of the things that I've heard from so many of them is, I can teach anybody how to do the job, but I can't teach them how to get along with others. So it's really important that somebody, by the time they're 18 and 19, 25, 30, 40 years old, I am looking for the person that is going to be a great team member, not necessarily the most talented, the person who knows the most technical stuff. I want the person that can get along best with the team and make the team run smoothly.
Absolutely.
And if our kids can learn that now when they're 5 and 6 and 7 years old, how much better will their life be?
I think a lot of bullying comes from not understanding. So that's why I'm a disability advocate. I'm on the board of a group at work that advocates for people with disabilities. My husband is legally blind. That's how I got into that. I've learned a lot at his side, and I wanted to share that and learn more. I've taken that into schools where I go and talk about disabilities. I created a board that shows tools. So it has a hammer, and it has a pencil, and it has a spoon, and then it has a wheelchair and a blind cane. And just correlating these things are tools that people use to accomplish something. So a hammer helps you build a house. A pencil helps you do your schoolwork. A wheelchair helps someone who needs help navigating the world. A blind cane also helps someone who needs help in a different way to navigate the world. And I took his blind cane with me, and I let them touch it. I just think the more we expose kids to these things and understand that there are people who are not like them, who are just as valuable, who bring just as much to the table as they do, then maybe they will learn how to get along better with people, and maybe we can reduce some of the bullying through understanding. That's my ultimate hope.
Yeah. Well, that is a great hope, and you're doing a great job spreading that message around. And I know people are going to want to know where they can go to find out more about Cindi Goodeaux and find out more about Jellibean Adventures and Bunky and Lulu.
Most definitely. Well, I have an Etsy store where I sell signed copies of my book called Write Cute, WRITECUTE. That's my branding, is Write Cute. So I write cute stories with big-hearted characters. I use that. I kind of came up with that because of Meet Cute, where a couple in like a movie will meet in a very cute way, and then they become a couple. So my stories are Write Cute. So cute kids, cute people, cute beings with big hearts. So not only do I have the Etsy store, my books are also available on Amazon, on Walmart.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and even Target.com has some of my books. So they are available pretty much everywhere online. Just search my name, and you should be able to find them.
Awesome. We've had a great time speaking to the author of book number 4 in the Jellibean Adventure Series. It's called The Art of Friendship. And our guest has been Cindi Goodeaux. Hey, Cindi, thank you so much for being back with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I enjoyed catching up with you.
Please be sure to join us for next episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. 2 great guests coming your way. Kelly Lee Miller will be here to celebrate Time to Recharge Harper. And then Christina Pellegrino will be here to celebrate Buster and the Brain Bully, her debut children's book. Hey, if you're the author of a fantastic children's book, please do check out our Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program. You heard how it helped Dr. Linda Mubarak at the opening of our show. It's helped so many authors. We would love to help you too. Check it out today, please. readingwithyourkids.com. Click on the Authors Click Here button at the top of the page. Scroll on down to Certified Great Reads. Want to thank the folks who made today's show so very wonderful. Of course, want to start by thanking our guest, Cindi Goodeaux. Please check out Jellibean Adventure Series, The Art of Friendship. And also check out Bunky and Lulu Find Their Place. What a sweet book. Also want to thank my team, Alejandra Doherty, Fatima Khan. I want to thank my amazing interns, Rory Grady, Michael Murphy. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. I want to thank Augie the doggy for having my back here in the studio. Most of all, we all want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.